almost won back-to-back C-class races. Dominated the B-class today. So let's see if he can keep the magic going. He's certainly feeling something today.
Absolutely. New Legend with that big, massive mass.
You see the difference in the mast right there. He's got at least 5 feet on the silent partner, at least. Now you see, now they're getting ahead, and what's going to happen is they're going to start to what we call gas the silent partner, which means the bad wind coming off of their sail is going to affect the red boat very, very quickly. So Buzzy most likely will have to tack away. But he's almost at the ley line, so he might just stick it out and see if he could just tack for the mark and try to hold him off. But
from inside.
Yeah, it's over now. They've rolled him, and you're going to start to see the red boat slow down significantly when all of that bad wind starts coming off of that massive sail.
Wow.
Yeah, that's crazy.
Legend now starting to really flex her muscle right now.
Absolutely. The only thing is she can't tack yet because she's too close, I believe, to the silent partner. So Buzzy can kind of hold her there and run her as far as he wants, or they can keep on going, and eventually I think they'll have enough clearance to tack in front of them.
Right. All right. So getting some expert commentary from the...
I should have bought my notepad and take notes.
Dallas knows National Family Island Regatta Commodore, and we've got our trackers coming up now.
Excellent.
So
look at those speeds, 5 knots.
Yep, 5.2. New Legend getting up to 6.0. Really gassed it. Courage. Well, we don't
both tacking now, so I think they both think they can make the mark. Everybody else is on port tack, but they should. I think they're going to clear the whole fleet relatively easily. We got shadows on the sails. That shows you how close they are. Still very close.
Very close to each other, absolutely.
Yeah. The next boat they're going to deal with is the Running Tide, coming up on port tack. So let's see if they cross them.
Yep.
And this will be similar to the C and the B class course, where you're only going to have 1 or 2 tacks to do in the entire race, so you want to make them count. That's a great shot right there.
Absolutely. To your left, silent partner. To your right, New Legend.
Yep.
And from this distance, sometimes these camera angles really distort what's happening out there in the water.
Yeah, Running Tide is tacked to the lee of both of them, but I don't think any of those boats can make the mark yet, so they might all have to tack again. And the current is going with them right now. It's pulling towards the dock.
Right.
Until about until the bridge, until about 5:30.
Right. So Legend probably the only boat that may possibly be able to
make the best chance.
Yeah, make the mark.
But they all got some work to do to try to make that mark. They're gonna have to sail very well on the wind without pinching too high and slowing down too much in the light breeze. You definitely don't want to sail her too close to the wind, or you'd lose a whole lot of speed.
Right.
Yeah.
Well, there they go to your left. And is that...
Hold on, who is that? Don't tell me that's the Ed Sky.
Ed Sky sneaking in there?
Crossing all of them.
we talked about that earlier. Do not count out the Ed Sky.
Well, that's the Georgetown champion, so they certainly have something to prove. They want to prove that wasn't a one-and-done regatta. They want to prove that they deserve to be in the mix with the big dogs, and they've proven it so far.
And they have always sailed extremely well in Montague, particularly in light winds.
Yeah,
Ed Sky sails well.
Yeah, so they crossed all of those guys, and they're going to tack for the mark. They're going to be first at the mark, and not by a short margin.
Absolutely.
They are well ahead. All those other guys still got to tack.
Ed Sky now going around the mark in first place. This is
for them.
A dandy right now. A dandy.
I think next up is going to be the Running Tide. They're going to be the ones to tack back onto that starboard ley line, so they'll be the second ones at the mark. But Ed Sky is going to have at least a minute and a half lead on them. And with their knowledge of this harbor and the size of their rig, they might just have what it takes to hold them off. Maybe.
Yep.
We know by now never to count out anything to Stefan sailing. We've seen him in the C class on both races come back from double digits into the top 5 and 4. So nothing is impossible for sure.
But boy, let me tell you, Ed Sky, those guys have been talking some trash talk since April. Because,
And look at the speed. They're doing almost 7 knots, and those other guys are still doing 5 knots because they're going upwind.
Right.
So every second that they're around the mark ahead of those other guys, they're just increasing their lead.
Absolutely. Wow. Interesting.
Wow.
And there comes Running Tide now, just making it to the mark.
Yeah. Look how far down Silent Partner fell.
Yeah, yeah. Because it looks now like even Good News.
Yeah.
It's
All
not
right, so Stefan's around. He's going to make it around next.
And I believe we have about at least 2 minutes between Ed Sky and
a decent lead.
Running Tide. And so Joe and the crew on Ed Sky.
They're gonna great time right now.
They're gonna be having a hay of a day.
Yep. Good close-up shot of the Running Tide right there. Beautiful boat. One of the prettiest boats in A-class. Can't argue about that.
Absolutely. And sails extremely well almost in every regatta. Just to astern, you can see Silent Partner trying to stay with her.
Yep. All right, so though, I mean, there must have been a bit of a wind shift because these guys are pointing much higher than they were a second ago. They're both going to make the mark now. Buzzy's definitely what we call juking for the mark. So he's really trying to make it without having to tack again. He's going to be really close.
Yeah, it's going to be close.
And you do not want to touch it. That's an automatic 2 points that you can never get rid of. So you don't want to carry that with you.
And the Legend.
It looked like he's going to make it, but boy, it's going to be slow.
No,
Legend's going to go across him and roll over him without much of a problem. Buzzy's gonna luff up, and then he's probably just gonna pull the tiller again and get his speed back and make it around.
Just falling right behind the Legend.
Right. He's not gonna commit to a full tack. He's just gonna do enough to get around there. That's the great thing. These boats weigh so much. Once they get moving, you know, you can use that momentum to keep them going. But boy, it looked like he might be stuck now. You overcommitted a little bit.
Absolutely.
You got, who's this, the Good News bearing down on him?
Now he looks like he's going to have to commit to a full tack.
Yeah, he's going to have to maybe lower some sail. I'm sure he's trying to scull that tiller, but that's kind of futile with these big old boats. I think he's going to be able to get going again.
Losing ground, though.
Yeah. He lost a couple of positions. Good thing is, you know, only 2 boats aren't making it to the finals, so you don't have to win the race.
Yep, just be the top 5.
Get through to Sunday. Oh boy.
Really struggling right now.
Yeah, so he's got the tiller in his lap, and they got the sail in tight. So they're trying their best. They grab the jib on the bow there. They're pulling the jib towards the wind to try to get the bow of the boat to come away from the wind and get her moving again. They ease in the main sheet. They got the boom out there, and they just trying to get anything going to get her moving. And at least the current's with them.
Yeah.
If the current was against them, they'd be on top of that buoy in a heartbeat. So at least they got that. Yeah, they're going to get it going. It's just a really slow process. In the meantime, Gene is bearing down on them now, and then Rough Justice, who had the rough start, they coming up, bringing up the rear right now, but I think they're going to roll over to Silent Partner as well.
And Ed Sky is gone.
Ed Sky is just plowing ahead.
Making their way to the foreshore right now.
Do you think they have a smaller sail on, or they just don't have their big sail hoisted all the way to the top? Because there's a lot of mast to the top of Ed Sky.
Yeah, it looks like they may have gone with a medium.
Maybe. Because with the size of that boat, they can carry their full sail today for sure.
Yep.
All right.
And Silent Partner still trying to get turned and.
You're trying to delay the inevitable of lowering that big sail. You just really don't want to do that because it takes so much effort to get it back up. But at the end of the day, that's probably what they're just going to have to do.
Yeah, Rough Justice, I believe now just coming.
They're coming around them now, so they're in last place. Yeah, so they're going to have to do some catching.
See if we can get our timer going on Ed Sky.
Yeah.
She's gone around the mark. Getting that sail thrown over to the other side, starboard side of the boat.
Yeah, that was a jibe. You only do that in the lighter breeze in the A-class for sure. That's a lot of sail and boom to come over.
And it looks like Silent Partner finally has got herself going.
They got their work cut out for him now.
And yeah, he's going to have to play catch up for the rest of the race.
Yeah.
But Ed Sky, I mean, making a statement in this first race.
Yep.
Here, I know Scott Harding on Running Tide was kind of making some jest about what was that they were just delaying what was going to happen to them today.
Yep.
That's guy. Yeah.
You know what I noticed too is James Wallace, who sails on the Irene Goodnight Ant's Nest, and he's on the bow of the Ed Sky. He has a GoPro camera on his head.
Ah.
Right? So I'm sure that's rolling 24/7 once this race starts. So if there's any infractions, any contact, he's going to have it on camera. He doesn't want a repeat.
Yes, what happened in Georgetown.
What went down in Georgetown. We want some clear video evidence of anything that may have happened in a race. So, I mean, that's a pretty clever move. It kind of protects yourself.
All right, so that's the distance, 1 minute exact, a couple of seconds between Ed Sky and Running Tide. We'll time them at the next mark to see if there's any increase or decrease.
There's the Legend next.
Legend going around in 3rd place. And I think Good News is going to hold on to 4th place.
You think there's any scenario where the Good News sails on Sunday?
No. No. How many boats are taken? 5?
5 out of 7. So two unlucky boats aren't going to make it through.
Well, you know, I better keep my mouth shut until the next race.
So Dallas, they're taking 5 in the A. How many in the B?
I believe 5 as well.
5 is
5 out of 8 in the B.
So that means tomorrow those boys in the B are going to have to sit.
Yeah. Yeah, I mean, I would say Buzzy and the Dove are in pretty good shape. Even Susan Chase, who came 2nd yesterday, they had a bad race today. But when was the last time the Susan Chase had 2 5th or 6th in a row?
Yeah,
that's very unlikely to happen.
And how many are they taking in C?
C, I believe, is 12.
12.
And then 10 in the E class.
Okay.
All right, Good News now going around in 4th place, which makes her way around this lower mark. Rough Justice, I believe, is going to take 5th place. And Silent Partner is really going to have to do something in the next race to make up for what was an extremely good start. Dallas.
I agree, yeah.
Just misjudged the mark.
And Buzzy's been having some trouble with the windward mark this regatta, huh?
Yeah,
in the C class, same thing.
He missed them out.
He went past it, had to jibe back around and come back towards it. Had enough of a lead on the Winnie K to still get around the mark first, but then ended up losing the lead on the downwind.
Yep.
Certainly would have won that race if he hadn't have made that small mistake.
Right, absolutely.
Yep. And then we had a similar situation here. He's just a little too low. Tried to luff up around it, carry the momentum of the boat around the mark, and then pull away. But
did not work.
Just probably hesitated a little bit too long, lost a little bit too much speed, didn't have enough to get the boat off the wind.
All right, Rough Justice and Captain Gene going around 5th and 6th. Silent Partner now coming around in last place, and we will see.
But they're still close.
Yep.
You know, everyone's right here.
Yep.
You know, this wind could change very quickly. You could have
well, we can see right now, Good News right now, pretty much going backwards.
Yeah, everyone's going much slower right now. The wind has definitely dropped a little bit. And it's still better than it was for the first 2 races today. First 2 races were very difficult on the sailors, very shifty and puffy conditions. You had 2 sides of the course that had drastically different amount of pressure.
Right.
So it was very difficult to guess and try to predict where to be. And then in the E class, you definitely saw the 2 lead boats go on the wrong side.
Yeah.
They just got unlucky and got passed by 2 other boats that went the other way. So that's the name of the game in sailing.
Yeah. Rough Justice now literally going backwards.
Certainly looks like it.
I'm not sure now where the more favorable side of the course is right now, because it doesn't look like there's anything happening for anybody right now.
We're looking at the flags and they're still moving, but it's just not like, I think because they're kind of closer in here with the wind direction, they're getting a little bit of a shadow from the land. So out where Ed Sky is, probably a little more consistent pressure.
Right.
So Ed Sky's probably going to be able to, and Running Tide, they're going to be able to stretch out their lead, I think, a little bit.
Yeah, I see
while
that.
These guys
struggle.
Catch up to the breeze, basically. Not to mention the current is quite strong right in here where this jibe mark is. So they're getting some current pulling against them right now. That's
I think we saw that with some of the races yesterday. Where literally the current took over the movement.
Yep.
Silent Partner though, looking like she's still got some forward momentum. And inching up on Captain Gene and Rough Justice. But Ed Sky
is still in the lead.
Yeah, and looking good. I mean, the sail is full.
Yep.
Hardly any movement of that sail.
This is actually a very difficult task for them to stay in front of these two boats, because you see all of that sail behind them blocking
the wind.
Yeah. So the guys behind, it's much easier to catch up to a boat in front when you're on the down. Much easier. In the front, you're just trying to kind of maneuver slowly to keep your air clean. But those two guys are basically side by side covering Ed Sky.
Blanketing him right
now.
They
blanketed him bad. So I think before they get to the mark, that minute lead I think it's going to shrink a little bit.
Come on, yeah. All right. So for those of you watching, there you go. There are your 7 A-class boats right in front of you. From the far right, we have Ed Sky, followed by Running Tide, New Legend in 3rd place, Good News in 4th place, Captain Gene in 5th place, Rough Justice 6th, and Silent Partner currently bringing up the rear.
And some of the folks on television will be saying, hey, don't look at those boats are moving.
Yeah. Yeah, it does look deceiving.
Yeah.
Yeah, especially since they're mostly moving away from us. Yeah.
But the wind has dropped a bit.
It has dropped, and for the sailors, they would hardly feel any wind right now because they're going the same direction as the wind. So if they're moving 4 knots, the wind is only 6 knots. They're only feeling like 2 knots of breeze on them. So they're probably saying, man, the wind died.
Yeah, absolutely.
It's still there, and when they turn the buoy, they'll feel it in their face, and it'll be much easier to go back upwind again.
Well, it looks like New Legend decided to kind of move slightly to the starboard side of the Ed Sky, and seemingly it's picked up a little bit more momentum. Running Tide now starting to pick up some momentum, and Ed Sky looks like she's come to a dead stop.
Yeah. Yep. And I mean, this would definitely be the favored leg for the Legend. With that increased sail size, they would be probably a little faster than the other boats on this particular leg. So this would be a good chance for them to catch up. If they can manage to gain the lead before the buoy, they would have a huge advantage going back up to the last windward mark.
Absolutely. Well, so it's not over until it's over. And we're going to have to see what happens once they get to the next mark. And I can't tell, well, I can see that mark, and man, that is a mile up the road.
Yeah, so it looks like it's far away. You can look on the screen to see how close that gap is now.
Yeah.
I would be surprised if the Legend doesn't pull even, and even the Running Tide doesn't pull even with the Ed Sky by the time they get that mark. So Ed Sky is just trying to maintain that inside advantage, forcing those two boats to go on his outside, so he would have
at least the
buoy room.
Right, once they get to the mark.
Exactly.
Absolutely. Well, all 7 boats making their move. Graphics up, New Legend, 4.0, Silent Partner, 4.7. Captain Gene, oh man, they must have got the track on the wrong boat because they're showing 5.0. I don't know. I'm not sure they've got original Courageous name up there, but obviously she's not sailing, so somebody else is carrying that tracker. And there's Good News, Rough Justice.
Pull him down.
Silent Partner. And Buzzy deciding to sail behind the other two to see if he could make some room. Captain Gene Dallas carrying a massive headboard.
That's got to be one of the biggest headboards I've ever seen.
Massive, massive, massive.
And I was noticing where he attached the headboard, right, where the halyard attached. It's very far in,
right,
close to the mast, right? So you can see the outer part of the headboard is kind of like drooping, creating a lot of creases in the upper part of the sail. That's
you don't have a tight sail.
Out, right?
Yeah.
He needs to move that attach point on his headboard out much farther, and that'll help the top third of that sail to set a whole lot better.
Yeah, when you compare his headboard to the others, I mean, if you look at, for example, Good News doesn't even have a headboard. Doesn't look like
barely. It looks like a triangle.
Yeah,
sail.
absolutely.
Yep. That's just an attempt to increase the sail area.
Yeah.
But these sails are so massive. I mean, are you going to really fight for an extra 1% sail area and sacrifice potentially your sail not setting properly?
Right, and I think that's what's happening right now with Captain Gene.
all part of the learning process.
Well, you know, Pat is trying to bring some aviation skills into sailing. I believe trying to create a wing, a Boeing 747 wing on that boat. But they're making their way a bit slowly. Starting to believe that Legend, well, we're not going to say, certainly looks like she is closer to the mark lay, but may still have to come back on attack to get to the mark. Whereas Ed Sky may actually be able to make the mark without tacking.
Right. I think Ed Sky is still going to be the closest one to the mark, but they're coming basically straight at the mark.
Right.
Which means they're going to do a very sharp turn around the mark, which is generally going to be a little slower.
Whereas someone's coming with some
if Legend or
Running Tide
are further out,
right,
they can do a nice, fast, long curve around the mark, and they can hit that mark going upwind already.
Right.
So there's a potential chance for them to just roll straight past Ed Sky if Ed Sky does not have a good buoy rounding. So you have your advantages to being inside at the mark because you do have the right to round first, but that doesn't always necessarily mean it's the fastest way to round.
Because it could slow you down.
It could slow you down, and if you have a good sailor, he'll just go right underneath you with a lot of speed and
leave you behind.
You saw what the Legend did to the silent partner.
Yep.
You see right here, I think Legend is ahead of Ed Sky, but there's clearly some sort of overlap there, so I think Ed Sky is still going to probably get to the mark first.
Yep.
But boy, it's going to be close.
All right. So there's a drone view of the back four boats. If we can get that drone
spun around
to the front of the fleet and pick up the 3 boats from this same angle, would give us a good perspective of where they are. We may be at our drone limit as far as...
They are. So Ed Sky is still maintaining her lead, very slight, but she's going to be the first one at the mark. So what's going to happen is she's going to go around the mark, and Running Tide and Legend are going to follow, but eventually they're going to tack away first. Right, because they're going to be in the bad wind of Ed Sky. So then Ed Sky's challenge is to try to cover them all the way to the mark without losing. Her advantage, which is a tall order against 2 very fast boats.
Particularly with a skipper like both Stefan and David.
Yeah, that's a tall order. But, you know, Lee Armbruster's an old, wily veteran.
Yeah, absolutely.
You know, he's got it in him.
And there comes their mark interview, and we're going to see it all live right in front of you. Stefan always likes to try to go underneath.
So you can see, look how tight Ed Sky's sail is already and how loose Stefan's sail is. All right, so Ed Sky's going to have a very slow rounding, and Stefan is going to have a much faster rounding because he's keeping a lot of power in his sail.
Right.
He's keeping his boat moving fast. He's not concerned about Ed Sky. He doesn't want to overtake him yet.
Right.
He's going to go on underneath them, and he's going to go with a whole lot of speed and try to get up in front of them.
I gotcha.
In the meantime, Legend is going to stay where she is and then eventually tack once she's not worried about the boat still coming to the mark. And so then the Ed Sky will have a decision to make. Do they cover the Legend or do they stay with the Running Tide?
Yeah, strategy playing out in front of you.
Right.
And right now, 2 Long Island against the Regatta Island.
Yep. Yep.
And good news, going around now in 4th place. Pat Smith is going to be very happy to say that he did not bring in a buoy today. Yet, at least.
Not yet.
Still some time left in this race.
Can he beat Buzzy on an upwind? That's the question, because they're going to be coming around very similar, almost the same time. So can he beat Buzzy back to the mark?
All right, Rough Justice going around, and there comes Captain Gene. And they're top 3.
Yeah, so you can see Running Tide already stretching ahead. I would, if I had to bet, I would say by the time they reach the ley line to the mark, Running Tide will be able to tack and clear the Ed Sky.
Yep.
That's my prediction.
Prediction from Dallas.
You don't know yet. And Legend, I guess they feel that they are not in the wind shadow enough to tack away.
Right.
And they must be making a good line to the mark, so they don't want to tack just yet. And
so they'll just stick with this.
Right. They're happy with the position. You know, you're not trying to win every race.
Yep.
I mean, they are, but, you know, you're just trying to make it to Sunday, so.
Absolutely.
Dallas, I think I'm going to trust you more than some of the commentators that have been on today. They were predicting, and at the end of the race, it was a totally different prediction.
Are you making reference to Richard Ross by any chance? Charles Fisher.
It looks like Legend tacked.
Right? Legend is tacked.
Yeah.
Right.
So they're the first to blink.
Right.
You could look out with our own eyes and look how much farther ahead the running tide is now. Look on your screen. Look how much farther ahead the running tide already is from the Ed Sky. So Ed Sky is like, all right,
we'll cover the Legend.
Time to go, because they're probably starting to feel the sail from the running tide.
Running tide
and
is
now
not.
Stefan's just going to cover him.
Yep.
So I'd say that's pretty much a lock at this point for the running tide to be the next one at the windward mark. I would love for Good News to finish in 4th place, just to make things interesting.
Yeah, absolutely, absolutely. That will definitely cause some eyebrows to spin up. Mm-hmm. And if we are lucky, we will get a back-to-back today.
I don't see why not. And if you didn't see it on the screen, but the silent partner tacked immediately at the downwind mark.
Okay.
So they went straight on to starboard tack.
Yes.
And that's what you do when you're in the back, you got nothing to lose. You're trying
try
to
something
get
else.
a favorable shift to help you catch some people. So he's going to probably bring it in pretty close here. Then he'll tack and try to go straight to the mark, and hope he gets a bit of a left shift, a little further north when he tacks, and it might lift him to the buoy a little bit ahead of these guys. He's got nothing else to lose at this point.
Right, on your screens to your left, running tide. Good News now about to go on attack. Captain Gene behind. I think his Pat is going to experiment a little bit.
Yeah. For Pat, it wouldn't make sense to go on the same tack as everybody else right now.
Right, absolutely.
He's in 5th place, so he might as well carry out that port tack a little bit longer and see if he can get a shift to carry him to the mark a little faster than everybody else. What do you got to lose at this point?
Yep, absolutely. All right, Legend at the bottom. Ed Sky in the center, running tide at the top. They make their way to
sorry about that.
the mark, and when that mark comes into view, Dallas, I believe we're going to be in a better position to determine who's got the best chance of going around in 1st place.
And Captain Gene is tacked as well, so everybody's on starboard now, heading inshore. So everybody has to tack at least 2 more times to make it to the mark. Nobody can make it from where they are right now. They got quite a ways to go.
Yep. Charles, I think Dallas is the person to be here with us.
All day.
We're gonna trust his commentary more than anybody else has been with us so far.
Yeah, not saying that Captain Plug and Richard and Higgins
didn't do a good job as well.
Technically wise.
Yeah, Dallas is technical.
I enjoy talking about sailing.
Absolutely.
You get a good look at Captain Gene's sail. You can see the upper portion of the sail, how much it's, we call it bubbling, flapping. Just not a lot of power in the top part of the sail.
Yeah, no, I think it's fair to say that he's just definitely got a headboard that's too big.
Yeah. His headboard extends beyond the top of the mast, Dwight. You ever seen that before?
No, never seen it.
So if they're sailing back to back, how much grace period would they be allowed?
How much races today?
Grace.
They probably will go immediately back to the line and line right back up. Yeah, because by the time they finish this and finish the 2nd race, we're probably looking at sunset. So we don't want to stretch it much farther than that. And there's definitely some breeze picking up tomorrow, so you want to give everybody a chance to get their boats properly secured tonight. It could be a lot rougher in here in the morning. Although it looks like it's going to start off really, really nice, maybe 10 knots in the morning, and then by the afternoon, 1 o'clock, it's up to like 17.
Yep.
So the B and the A might be in for a bit of a bumpy ride, but I think the E and the C are going to have some nice sailing.
Alice Knowles, Commodore, National Family Honor Regatta, race analyst, weatherman.
Giving it to us all.
Yeah.
Oh, I wish I could predict it, but nobody can.
All right, Ed Sky now, Dallas, deciding to go back.
Yeah,
Running
because
Tide,
the running tide tack, they basically tacked at the same time. So they're
matching each other one for one.
They're almost on the port lay line to the mark, so they're going to come right up to the mark and tack and go straight around it. Then that's Captain Jean up there. From first glance, it doesn't look like she made up enough ground to make much of a difference. And then the Legend is still behind Ed Sky. So far, Ed Sky's lost one position into second place. Let's see if the Captain Jean gained anything, see if they caught the good news. And see if the Rough Justice has caught the good news, because Rough Justice right now is on port tack right there.
Yeah, I believe Rough Justice is going to cut good news, and so I also think Silent Partner is going to cut good news.
Yeah. So on the right side of your screen, you got good news coming right towards you. They are tacking, which tells me that they could not cross the Rough Justice. So they decided to tack. Yeah, that's clear that they're well behind. So Rough Justice is caught up into at least fourth or fifth place, depending on how Captain Jean is.
Yeah.
So Jean's still on starboard coming towards us. Yeah, so I think Silent Partner is at least going to get sixth place.
Yeah.
They've caught the good news.
Yeah.
So our hopes of a Cinderella story are quickly dwindling, Dwight.
Yes, absolutely. Buzzy will have to try to redeem himself in the secondaries.
All right, so it's deceiving. We can't see how close the Legend and Captain Jean are right now, but
I think it's
Legend is still ahead.
Yeah, quite a
All right,
distance.
so let's see
Rough Justice
and Captain Jean.
Rough Justice will also go across, I believe,
Let's see.
by a significant mark. Yep. Rough Justice.
All right, but Jean looks like Jean's pulling a bit. So
I believe Silent Partner is going to also cut Jean.
Yeah, I think you're right.
And so Silent Partner now has sailed herself back into a comfortable fifth place.
Yeah.
Moving up.
Yeah.
Moved up 2 spots. There she goes, right across the bow.
So she's on port, so she'll have to make sure she can clear Captain Jean. Doesn't look like any issues. Yeah, so I guess Pat's gamble didn't quite pay off.
No, Running Tide now going across around the mark, and she's going to be headed home. And
I don't see a finish boat in here yet. That doesn't mean they're not coming in here to finish. But I don't know if they're going around back to the start to finish, or if they're going to finish at the...
They may finish at the start.
Maybe.
Just so that they get started again from that point.
Yeah.
Which may open up some opportunities again, because that upwind leg is a difficult one.
Look at Rough Justice and Legend.
Yeah, absolutely.
Look at that. I mean, that ain't over yet. They from here it almost looks like...
It looks like Rough Justice has got the Legend.
Ahead, yeah. Mm-hmm. So that's who's sailing that? Joshua.
Joshua Knowles, sailing Rough Justice. Ed Sky now. They're gonna. It looks like they're making ready to come around, but they're gonna have to clear the Rough Justice before they make that move. Ed Sky playing that mark really close.
Yep. Basically, Rough Justice has the Legend where they want him.
Yeah, boxed.
Yeah, so they both tacking at the same time. There must have been some communication on board, because that
The doctor look at me, young.
That could have ended badly. Wow. Silent Partner caught right up too. So Ed Sky, Rough Justice, Legend, Silent Partner. Dead close. Now look at this. Silent Partner has tacked
in front of Rough Justice.
Just to the windward side of Rough Justice. Wow. Looks like everybody's around clean. Here comes Captain Gene up to the mark. So he doesn't have any stress. There's nobody directly giving him any pressure right now, so he can do a nice tack around the mark. So yeah, this is going to be a close finish right here between silent partner Rough Justice and the Legend. Stefan and the Running Tide are well in front. Probably a bigger lead than Ed Sky had on the first lap. Ed Sky is still in second. They will most likely hold on to that. And then it looks like the Legend, who's windward of everybody, is going to be able to hold on for third place. But that was some good excitement at the windward mark.
You're still not sure where they're finishing, or they're going back to
Not
the
sure
start?
yet. No, I see some committee boats right here. They might be finishing right here. But that's an area where the committee has to be fast to get that finish line down, so the boats know where they got to go to finish the race. Very important. And I know all the fans like to see the collisions. You heard everybody getting excited when all those boats are coming around the mark. They want to see the action and boats touching and colliding and all that fun stuff. Not so much fun for the boat owners, but a lot of fun for the fans when there's collisions. So we have a buoy and a committee boat. That may be a finish line right here inshore.
Yeah, I believe they
guess that it probably is. If they want to do another race, they definitely can't stretch it out too much longer.
Yeah. All right, and Running Tide looking like a speedboat coming in right now.
Stefan gets his first race of the regatta.
Gets his first one. And so today, the 4 races split, 2 Long Island, 2 exhaust.
That's right.
There goes Running Tide. Across the mark.
And we got a gun.
And there's a gun.
Yes.
First race, A-class, over and done with. Stefan Knowles powering through on the Running Tide. Ed Sky looking like she's gonna.
Look at
that. The Legend is
Legend turning up.
Going upside down.
Which means a big puff hit, and they couldn't slack the sheet, so he had to push the tiller over
to save her.
Yeah. You could ask Rough Justice all about that.
Yeah. We had a race a couple of years ago with Legend and Running Tide, and literally they came up against each other, and they both got hit with puff wind at the same time. Both, I'm talking, both almost the tip of the mast went to the water, and they were able to bring both of those boats back.
That was here?
Here in Montecure.
I remember Running Tide being on her side up there, and all we saw was blue keel.
Legend and Running Tide at the same time. It was like a dance, almost.
Only the A and the B can do that because of the decks.
Yeah.
The cockpit for the deck is so high up, it doesn't get underwater when they're on their side.
Right.
C-class would sink immediately.
Yeah.
Ed Sky.
All right, Ed Sky across in second place.
All right, good race for them. Good start.
Yep.
And it looks like it's going to be a little slugfest between
the other 2 Long Island boats.
Justice and Legend.
Rough Justice made up a lot of ground.
They did.
Yeah,
Imagine if they didn't have that bad start.
Yeah, they made up a lot.
So Rough Justice across in third place. Let me tell you, boy, the chat is going to be lit up tonight.
Yep.
Lit up tonight.
They caught the Legend. They're third across.
Legend coming across in fourth, and silent partner doing what she had to do to secure her spot for Sunday by coming no lower than 5th in today's race, because 3 5th-place finishes will still get you into Sunday.
Yeah.
So as long as she improves on this spot for the next 2 races, or doesn't drop any lower, secured for Sunday.
So now Captain Gene has to make sure she does a little bit better on this race, or she's in trouble going into tomorrow.
Yep. And good news, as you predicted, Dallas.
Not so good news.
Went from 4th to 7th.
And now everyone will line back up in their new starting positions. Hopefully they give them a lot of space on the starting line so they can get some clean starts. It's a shame when you have a big race like this and you have a bad start.
Yeah, and particularly when you have such a small fleet and you have enough space
for
for everybody to spread out.
Yeah.
All right, Charles, you want to close this one out and get us set up for the next race, hopefully.
I gotta get the producer's cue. Are we keeping it here? Because if they're going to start right away. Pretty good race. We're still waiting on one more sloop to come in.
Yep, good news. Coming in 7th, but I believe that it's probably going to take them, Dallas, what do you think, what, 20 minutes or so to get reset?
Maybe 20 minutes to get back on the starting line. They'll be through the finish line in another 5 minutes or so. They're right there.
So maybe an opportunity
for us to take a break.
Take a quick break.
Take a quick break, and we'll be right back out here. The Montague, the fans are starting to line up. Those watching the big screen down there, we heard your cheers and we heard your oohs when those two sloops almost crashed, but we're not here for that. We have to see some good sailing. But it's going to be a great one more race to go. I'm glad we were able to get in this 2 series races today. They're a bit tired because most of these skippers have been sailing C, B, and A. Now they're going to sail another 2. So let's give them a break. We're going to take a break here, and we'll be right back in another 15 minutes. Good afternoon, everybody. We are back here at the Montague foreshore. The B-class sloops are on the water. What an exciting day we've had so far.
All seem to be, right now, just flustering in the wind.
I think the breeze is just dying up.
Lonesome Dove on your screens right now.
First.
Could it be that Susan Chase ran aground and we weren't aware of it?
I believe so, you know. Those Abaco boys really doing a good job out there. I wish I was from Abaco today.
Sailing by themselves right now.
Yeah, they got this one.
Go right in front of you. Susan Chase now in 2nd place. Lady Sonia in 3rd place. Well, congratulations to Jim Hale, those on the Lonesome Dove. 1st place finish. That we see now are in the top 5.
Okay, that's Baintown Woman on the lee side. They are very close.
All right, so on your screens now, yep, we have a couple of boats now going around.
Yeah, that is Captain Peg.
Number 10.
Yep. Number 10 is Captain Peg.
So for those of you watching at home, there is your current leader of this first race in the E-class, Lady Kayla, sailing out of Exuma, skippered by young Joss Knowles, I believe. Dwayne at the bottom of the screen, and
yeah,
the position
she's struggling.
Yeah, she is.
She's not in a good place.
So 1 in the books for Lady Kayla.
You come out here to sailing, and you're going to see millions. I don't know how they hold it there, but you're going to see millions of people from all over. So it is indeed the national sport.
Oh, yeah.
All right.
Okay.
They're off.
Progress.
Flight and Captain Plum.
Where they're pulling. Got the sails going up already. Tracking at 2.0, Slaughter at 2.4, 2.3, Pat and Pride 2.5. Looks like Bull Red May just have inched herself back into this one. The guys on the Winnie K trying to scoop that boat across the line.
Man.
It is
What a
neck and
close
neck.
finish.
It
Oh,
is.
my God.
Oh, who's going to get it?
Boy.
Who's going to get it? Look at that photo finish. Oh, my goodness.
Too hard to tell.
Winnie K, I believe, got it by a nose.
Be back in the next hour or so, because if the C class was that exciting, boy, what can we expect coming up in the big boys, the B and E? Good afternoon, everybody. We are back here at the Montague Foreshore. The B-class sloops are on the water. What an exciting day we've had so far.
All seem to be, right now, just flustering in the wind.
I think the breeze just dying up.
Lonesome Dove on your screens right now.
First,
Could it be that Susan Chase ran aground and we weren't aware of it?
I believe so. Those Abaco boys really doing a good job out there. I wish I was from Abaco today.
Sailing by themselves right now.
Yeah, they got this one.
Go right in front of you, Susan Chase. Now in second place, Lady Sonia in third place. Well, congratulations to Jim Hale, those on the Lonesome Dove. First place finish. That we see now are in the top 5.
Okay, that's Baintown Woman on the lee side. They are very close.
All right, so on your screens now, yep, we have a couple of boats now going around.
Yeah, that is Captain Peg.
Number 10. Yep.
Number 10 is Captain Peg.
So for those of you watching at home, there is your current leader of this first race in the E-Class, Lady Kayla, sailing out of Exuma, skippered by young Joss Knowles, I believe. Dwayne at the bottom of the screen, and
yeah,
from the position
she's struggling.
Yeah, she is.
She's not in a good place.
So one in the books for Lady Kayla.
You come out here to sailing, and you're going to see millions. I don't know how they hold on there, but you're going to see millions of people from all over. So it is indeed the national sport.
Oh, yeah.
All right.
Okay.
They're off.
Progress.
Flight and Captain Plum.
Where they're pulling. Got the sails going up already. Tracking at 2.0, Slaughter at 2.4, 2.3, Pot and Pride 2.5. Looks like Bull Ridge may just have inched herself back into this one. The guys on the Winnie K trying to scoop that boat across the line.
Man.
It is neck and neck. It is.
My God.
Oh, who's going to get it?
Boy.
Who's going to get it? Look at that photo finish. Oh, my goodness.
Too hard to tell.
Winnie K, I believe, got it by a nose.
Be back in the next hour or so, because if the C class was that exciting, boy, what can we expect coming up in the big boys, the B and E? Good afternoon, everybody. We are back here at the Montague Foreshore. The B-class sloops are on the water. What an exciting day we've had so far.
All seem to be, right now, just flustering in the wind.
I think the breeze just dying up.
Lonesome Dove on your screens right now.
First.
Could it be that Susan Chase ran aground and we weren't aware of it?
I believe so. Those Abaco boys really doing a good job out there. I wish I was from Abaco today.
Sailing by themselves right now.
Yeah, they got this one.
Go right in front of you, Susan Chase. Now in second place, Lady Sonia in third place. Well, congratulations to Hale, those on the Lonesome Dove. First place finish.
Ladies and gents, it's all about best of the best regatta, and we have one of our vendors here, Sailors Wind Blow, doing what they do best. Ladies in pink, spreading the joy through food. Last year, we had our B-class winner from Long Island. Their name was Susan Chase. Yes. So once we have our winner this year, you will be having your name and your boat on the Gombe can. Isn't that great? Come on.
Best of the Best 2024. I'm Lil Loris Hutt, and you can find me on Montague.
At Island Cane, we specialize in fresh squeezed sugarcane juice. You can get the fresh squeezed sugarcane juice in a variety of flavors. You can get it with added rum. So come on down to the Best of the Best Regatta today.
Good morning, my beautiful people, and welcome to Fat Wraps, where we specialize in wraps, shish kebabs, and fettuccinis. And we are here today at beautiful Montague Beach for Best of the Best.
Hi there. Looking for some nice down-home Kid Island food? Then visit us at Soraya's. We have all the dinners that you would like. Come on and visit us at Best of the Best.
If anybody want to have something like this, just come to Max's right here. We opposite right there next to the bar. You can't miss it.
There goes the Baratari gals representing the Baratari Development Association. So come on down to Baratari, City by the Sea.
Come on down, Bahamas. Come on down, Nasuvians and visitors alike. Come on down to the Montague foreshore, to the Best of the Best Regatta, where you will enjoy some good Bahamian fun.
Good morning once again for those watching from as far down in Inaga to up to Abaco and Grand Bahama. Millions and millions of viewers watching the national sport of the Bahamas, and the E-class sloops are underway, right?
It's Papa.
There you go.
Skippered by one of the legendary sailors, Mr. Green, Captain, Lady Agnes, or Miss Agnes.
Miss Agnes. And that's so Lady Kayla sailing from the Exuma Sailing Club, and also Miss Agnes sailing from the Exuma Sailing Club.
Oh, actually, there's a little touch there.
There's Empress in there, and it looks like there's a collision between. No collision.
No, they just went around. Oh, that's David Roll. I'm not sure the name of his new boat. He would have built that. He's from Exuma as well. They do have a problem. There's the sail that is off the boom.
Yeah, okay.
So there had to have been an issue because they would not have been that far behind. Oh, wow. This is going to be another one of those very close finishes.
Between Papa and Lady Anne-Marie.
Anne-Marie, yes.
Neck and neck at the moment.
That's Colin Cartwright.
Colin Cartwright, yep.
But once again, we're not sure exactly what have crossed.
Yeah, you can't tell from that angle.
But we know it's a close finish.
Unofficially, gentlemen, Lady Anne-Marie in first place.
Lady Anne-Marie. Yes.
Lady Anne-Marie in first place, Papa in second, Miss Agnes in third. Oh, there you have it. You heard it and you saw it live.
The race is on, folks. Here we go. Look at them Cullen boy.
This is the best part I like to watch.
King of Nights.
You got to do it nice and smooth, fellas.
One or two boats still struggling, going in the wrong direction. And I see Slaughter showing 4.2. Willie K, 2.2. Patton Pride bouncing between 3 and 4. Bull Reg up to 4.0, 4.1. New Slaughter, first place. Close second, Bull Reg. Irene Goodnight, number 20. She came 10th yesterday, so sailing extremely well again. And Cap, this looks like it's gonna be a Willie K Bull Reg slugfest once again. There's Buzzy and Bull Reg. And Buzzy's got victory in sight once again. So, yeah, Buzzy should be able to make the mark from there. And there should be a straight shot to the finish line. A little bit of a spliff because Shroud is coming.
Shroud's coming in fast.
Coming in very fast.
Those two extra tacks that Willie K had to do has really cost them on momentum and boat speed.
In jeopardy of losing the second place position.
They're going to lose it, I guarantee you.
Sure, because they're not even moving.
He's not moving, and Shroud's in now where they got to give him buoy room. They cannot crowd the marker, and they're hardly moving anyway.
At first place, Buzzy Roll across. They're going to get the gun. There you have it.
Here we go.
First place, Buzzy Roll, congratulations. Doing it. Second place yesterday with a photo finish. First place today.
Ladies and gents, it's all about best of the best regatta, and we have one of our vendors here, Sailors Wind Blow, doing what they do best. Ladies in pink, spreading the joy through food. Last year, we had our B-class winner from Long Island. Their name was Susan Chase. Yes. So once we have our winner this year, you will be having your name and your boat on the Gombe Can. Isn't that great? Come on.
Best of the Best 2024. I'm Lil Loris Hutt, and you can find me on Montague.
At Island Cane, we specialize in fresh squeezed sugarcane juice. You can get the fresh squeezed sugarcane juice in a variety of flavors. You can get it with added rum. So come on down to the Best of the Best Regatta today.
Good morning, my beautiful people, and welcome to Fat Wraps, where we specialize in wraps, shish kebabs, and fettuccinis. And we are here today at beautiful Montague Beach from Best of the Best.
Hi there. Looking for some nice down-home Kid Island food? Then visit us at Soraya's. We have all the dinners that you would like. Come on and visit us at Best of the Best.
If anybody want to have something like this, just come to Max's right here. We opposite right there next to the bar. You can't miss it.
There goes the Baratari Gals, representing the Baratari Development Association. So come on down to Baratari, City by the Sea.
Come on down, Bahamas. Come on down, Nasuvians and visitors alike. Come on down to the Montague foreshore, to the Best of the Best Regatta, where you will enjoy some good Bahamian fun.
The start of the B-class.
Yes, yes.
And there's that famous cannon from Montague.
And we
B-class underway.
The best anchor full of Bill getaway. See the chase?
Look at Lady Sonia.
It look like they're pulling, but they ain't going nowhere.
Look at Lady Sonia.
Lady Sonia going.
Sailor up.
I think Buzzy getaway.
Gone. Gone. Gone, Richard.
Wait.
Gone.
Yeah.
Yeah, gone. Old boy finally getting the sail up. Lonesome Dove right now in a little bit of a tangle there with Udiva trying to get clear.
Buzzy, fine. You set the speed. I want to know what kind of adjustment Buzzy make to these boats.
Buzzy has come to win it all.
Yes, sir.
He's come to win it all. Lady Sonia, number 24. She's coming to the mark.
See Buzzy's son up front on the bow. He's calling the shots now. Ready about daddy.
He better not make a mistake, because I believe Buzzy's still holding him responsible for yesterday's error. And it's showing you Susan Chase now sailing 5.7. But it's quite close between Lady Sonia and Old Boy. And here they go, around the mark.
This race right here, how it's set up, I know this is a very nervous race. Nobody knows what's going on.
Yep.
Nobody can brag. Everybody quiet.
Yep.
Just hoping you do your best and hold your position.
Again, Buzzy demonstrating that he is still someone to be reckoned with.
Yes, sir.
As it comes to sailing. Susan Chase.
My boat coming in from third.
Trying to do a cut, but she's going to have to give everybody room.
You got to give me.
Going to have to give everybody room. A good try by Stefan to try and get back into it.
I think you can beat him in here.
I don't know.
Don't let him be so close on you now.
Giving it to Buzzy Roll, Lady Sonia. Bringing home the bacon. And these guys are just cool as cucumbers right now. The race is over.
I don't think they believe it.
Done. One and done. Shoot the gun. There you have it. The cannon.
Knox need to come back. See him there, Big Knox.
Big Knox. On the... I can't believe it. Big Knox. Big Knox on the boat.
So who has the most say on that boat?
Knox. Big Knox is going to claim this victory tonight. The chats are going to be lit up.
Okay, ladies and gents, we are here at the Gombe Punch Stand, and it's all about the best of the best regatta. Do you think this guy is going to be the lucky winner of the day? I don't know. Let's see. Come on. Come on. We need that Gombe Punch energy, baby. It's all about the 242. Oh, we got a winner! How do you feel today?
I feel great. I didn't win on the course today, but I surely win that.
Okay, so you can move on over here. You can pick any prize on the table. Sir, pick, choose, never refuse. You want a shirt? What size are you? So we're going to help our lucky winner right now with a size medium. Here to our winner. Oh, come on down, sample with ACE. It's all about Gombe Punch, ladies and gentlemen.
After a short break, we are back here at Montague for the final series race in the A-class. And then folks, if you're wondering why they are sailing back-to-back, they were unable to sail yesterday due to the lack of wind, but they are right back on the course and they are ready to start. Once again, joining us here at the Ford is Mr. Dwight Hahn and Commodore of the National Fun Island Regatta, Dallas Knowles. Guys, we are in for another great race. We saw some technical stuff happen in the first series race, and to get your position, to be in some kind of position for tomorrow, you're going to see some really trying to figure out what this boat is going to do in this race coming up.
Yep. Absolutely, and we're going to let Dallas chime in with the technical stuff that we saw, Charles, but a good race when it was all said and done. Stefan Knowles riding the victory horse, coming through in first place. Ed Sky, who had a lead on the initial first lap, ended up in second place. Rough Justice sailing down the Legend to come across in third place. Legend in fourth place. Silent Partner, who had a good second place, I believe. Well, actually, she was probably in first place at the beginning of the race, ended up coming in fifth after stalling at one of the marks. Captain Jane coming in sixth, and Good News, who sailed in fourth place for most of the race, finally crossing in seventh. But Dallas, I'm looking at the start line again as they're getting set up, and it looks like Silent Partner on the left side of the course, again Buzzy having a favorable position off the line. I believe the left side of the course is the most favorable position based on wind and tide and currents and all that. Out there, Dex Point, your comments on that?
Yeah, it's hard to say with the current, because the current is so dramatic in this harbor, but it is definitely, if all things were equal, it's the side you want to start on, because you have nobody on your weather side at the start of the race. So it really does give you options, of course.
Pulling off the line.
Yeah, pulling off the line. You can go on port tack if you wanted to, unimpeded.
Right.
And generally, if you get a good pull and a good start and can get some speed going, you can generally be on top of most of the fleet, and what we call pinning them down, meaning they can't tack until you let them, because they would then be on port tack and you'd be on starboard tack, and you'd have the right of way. So generally, that's the number one position. That's where you want to be. That's, of course, assuming, the line is set evenly, the wind is where it should be, and the windward mark is where it should be. It's a good spot to be in. So what we're looking for is a clean start from these guys. It's unfortunate when you do all the prep and you have a short race and then you have a bad start and you're having to catch up, which we saw from Rough Justice and Captain Gene. So let's hope they can get out of the line clean this time and not leave anything to chance, because certainly Captain Gene, the pressure's on for them being in 6th place, and only 5 make it to the finals. So they're going to have to put in a good race now for sure. Try to beat at least 3 or 4 boats, preferably, to give themselves a bit of a cushion going into tomorrow. Tomorrow's going to be a much different race, definitely more breeze. They will not be able to carry these big sails tomorrow. They'll have to have smaller sails, a lot of crew. They're going to be fighting the wind and the conditions a lot more tomorrow, so you don't want to leave anything to chance. You don't want to have a broken piece of equipment or a failure take you out of the regatta tomorrow. You want to put yourself in a good position today so you have a little bit of breathing room going in tomorrow. So let's see what happens. You can see right now the boats are tailing in several different directions, so the current is affecting them out there. The wind is still relatively light. I would say we're looking at maybe 7-8 knots, maybe even less than that. So let's see if they can get them lined up and we can get out of here. And it doesn't look like the course has changed. They're still going to have the same course. And there's Captain Gene there.
Gene,
Pressure's on.
Looking at them, you're just freshly coming off a race. Give us the strategy for each boat, since we have some time.
Yeah, I mean, certainly the seasoned veterans, like the Long Island boats, they know what they have to do. They know how to win races. They're in good positions in the regatta so far, so they're not looking to try to, go out there and gamble and throw everything on one side of the course or take a big risk. They're looking to just go put in another solid race.
Position, really.
Yeah, position themselves in the top 3, which for them is not difficult to do against this fleet. The pressure really comes in the middle of the pack, like Silent Partner, Gene, the Legend. Right now, with that 4th place finish, she's getting close to the 5th place cutoff. So you don't want to certainly put in another bad race. You don't want to have a breakdown or a bad start and then end up in some weird fluky situation coming 5th or 6th again, and then suddenly you're needing help to get into the finals. So I would say that the panic isn't setting in just yet, but after today, we'll know a lot more about who's probably going to be sailing on Sunday. If things stack up the way they did in the first race, I would say it would be a very difficult path for Captain Gene, and certainly good news to sail on Sunday. But I do think the top 4 boats are pretty evenly matched between the Silent Partner, Legend, Running Tide, and Rough Justice. Any of those boats could win the race. And of course, don't forget about Ed Sky. Right, Ed Sky could have easily won that last race. Her strongest leg is not the downwind on a light day, so it would have been difficult for her to hold off the bigger boats in that situation. And again, we're looking at her sail. Her sail wasn't going all the way to the top of her mast. I didn't know if she had more to put up there or didn't carry her biggest sail. But she certainly, with a good start, could put pressure on the Long Island boats again.
All right, if we can go back to the view we had just before this view, showing the entire fleet, I think we can kind of call the boats as they are lined up. Looks like Silent Partner in the number 1 position, Running Tide in the number 2 position, Ed Sky in the number 3 position, Captain Gene in the 4th position, Rough Justice in the 5th position, New Legend in the 6th position, and Good News in the 7th position. And that's from your left to your right. We've been thinking that the number 1 position is probably the more favorable position for a start, and so it should be in the Silent Partner's favor to get started, but you have Stefan Knowles and Running Tide right on your right elbow. We'll see what happens on the start.
Certainly one of the more consistent starters in all the classes. Rarely does Stefan get tangled up. And even when he does, he doesn't
panic.
He doesn't panic.
Yeah, he doesn't.
He knows it's a long race to go. You saw that in the C class. He started almost last on the first race, ended up 5th.
Fourth, actually.
Fourth. Well, that was today. The first race, I think he was fifth.
Yeah.
But yeah, you know, you don't have to panic and do something drastic if you have a bad start. Just keep sailing.
Yeah.
And let the boat do its thing. But you can see the direction they're pointing in relation to the line. The current is pulling all of these boats
around
towards us.
Yeah.
So when they start, you're going to see them swing around really sharply and start pulling upwind. But right now they're all almost, it seems perpendicular to the wind almost. Really, really difficult for the race committee to do an accurate start when the current is wreaking havoc on everything. So it looks like actually Running Tide might be the #1 boat.
Yeah, it looks like Silent Partner repositioning at the moment.
Got a big gap, though, between Ed Sky and Rough Justice. I wonder why there's such a big gap right there.
Yeah. Unless that's the position that Silent Partner is supposed to be in.
Yeah. The tide is falling for another hour, so hopefully they don't have to go too close into the Dix Point area. I think Rough Justice can remember what happened last year. You don't want a repeat of that.
Yep.
You don't want to damage any boats. You don't want to get stuck. But the good thing is Montague offers good depth pretty much all around.
Yeah, yeah. And big enough harbor to have a course that's adjustable.
Yeah.
All right, so...
Are they going to give us a warning before they fire this cannon?
No.
Oh, good.
What are
they pulling? Okay.
That was your warning, Dallas.
they switched to the cannon shot 1 second before, so it wasn't a complete surprise. But
I think our producers are watching us just shake.
Yeah, getting some pleasure out of that.
Yeah.
But we did see them start to pull, so they were definitely pulling before the cannon went off.
And Captain Gene trying to do a tidal wave impression, getting that sail up first and foremost.
Yep. You see, a lot of times they put the jibs up first, because that helps pull the bow away from the wind quickly. And then
Sky fully sailed. Good news. Full sail.
All right. So far, much better start. Gene still struggling a little bit.
Silent Partners, a little bit of a struggle.
Yep. Looks like Running Tide opted for the port tack.
And she is out of there.
And so did the Good News.
And everybody else on a starboard tack at the moment.
All right, let's go, Pat. Let's go. Get that cloud up.
Get that big, massive amount of canvas.
And you're lifting a 50-pound headboard. You know, that's not easy to do.
Finally gotten it up. So everybody off to a clean start. 2 boats on the port. The other 5 on a starboard.
All right.
And we'll see how this plays out. Silent Partner trying to stay on top of Captain Gene. Ed Sky trying to stay on top of Legend.
Hey, Legend's trying to attack, but they don't have any speed.
Yeah, I don't think that's going to work out too well in their favor at the moment.
Wow.
And just look at that, coming almost to a standstill.
Yeah.
But obviously they believe that there's some favor to your left. Running Tide now coming back. Captain Gene now also trying to go back on a port tack. Not sure. So we have 3 boats. Port and 4 coming on a starboard tack.
Good News is going for it, right? They're going for it.
Yeah.
They're going to make their move. This is it.
Yeah. Well, you know, they're looking pretty good at the moment.
Yeah, looking good. As long as you're moving, man, just keep her moving.
Yep, and she's moving pretty fast.
Yeah, like, for example, the Legend still hasn't really, gotten going. The sail's coming down, so that's a slow tack. This is what you don't want. We got a 4th in the first race. You could potentially fall back in a short race here. That could put you in trouble going into tomorrow. But you got a lot of race to go. I wouldn't be panicking if I was them just yet.
Not just yet, no.
There you go. Look at that. Good News.
Good News sailing, I believe, with the smallest sail of all the A-class boats.
Usually is. I see the Fedora at the tiller. That's the wily veteran Joshua Green, one of the more clever skippers out here. Almost won the E-class race this morning.
Yes, had Papa sailing well for a bit.
Yep, got edged out right at the end, but he led most of the race.
And now they're coming back.
Yeah, he's actually the furthest windward boat right now. He went beyond the running tide and then tacked.
All right, we'll see how that plays out.
There's Gene
going out along the stern of running tide.
On the port tack.
Legend finally starting to see some forward movement.
Right, getting that sail back up.
And on your far right, Rough Justice finally coming into our picture frame.
Yeah, they are the closest ones inshore to us right now. They just tacked onto port, so they would have to make sure they could clear Ed Sky.
And Gene just cut Good News.
All right, Gene's ahead of Good News.
Wouldn't it be something for Gene to come across in first place?
Wouldn't that? I mean, I'd love that, honestly. Hats off to Pat for the taking on building an A-class. And all that. And he had so much trouble getting that boat here with some breakdown issues of his trailer, and it ended up in Long Island, and then it had to get all the way here. And I'm just so glad he's actually here sailing right now.
And so we got the graphics up, and it's showing Gene right now powering through with the top speed. 4.6.
Rough Justice, 4.7.
Yep.
All right.
Silent Partner, 4.5.
No, New Legend just got it going. There we go.
Yep. Going up to high fives. And nothing from the Good News, Ed Sky, or Running Tide. But they're all off and sailing, and here comes
look at down at the bottom of the screen there.
Rough Justice now.
Ed Sky tacking ahead of Silent Partner. Those two are very close. All right, so here we go. Rough Justice
coming
and Running Tide.
And Rough Justice is just cut Running Tide.
Running Tide might be your current leader, ladies and gentlemen. Shows you what happens when you get a good start.
Absolutely. And Silent Partner, I believe, falling off.
Yeah, they seem pretty far back right now.
And that's going to get a little scary for them to make it into tomorrow's final. But Rough Justice, I believe, now are running away from the fleet.
Boy, they found some good pressure right there, and they are really moving just ahead of the whole fleet.
Ed Sky also, I believe, coming across, and I believe she's going to also cut Running Tide.
Let's see. That one might be a little closer. And again, they're on port.
So going behind the stern, or is she going to cut her? I think she's cut her.
She's behind. Oh, wow.
Cut.
Ed Sky ahead of Running Tide again for back-to-back races on the first lap.
And here comes the Silent Partner now.
So you can see the shadow on the sails. They're very close.
Close, absolutely.
Very close.
And now she's going to meet up with Good News, who's going to tack away.
That was an aggressive move by the Ed Sky being on port tack.
Absolutely. And now here she comes across. Is that Captain Gene or Legend?
That's Captain Gene. Legend is far left, up there, but further leeward of everybody else. But she's got her speed back, so there's a good chance.
Silent Partner,
just
Running Tide, just underneath Running Tide.
Yep.
And there's Captain Gene duking it out with Good News.
Yep.
Pat and his crew. I believe this one is going to be a dandy.
Yeah, this looks like a good race.
Rough Justice, I believe, is going to, at the moment, pull away. Ed Sky is probably going to be his closest competitor at the moment.
Yep. It'd be good to have a nice shuffle up, have everyone very close in scores going into tomorrow. I think everybody would enjoy that.
Yep. No dominating boat.
Nope.
And everybody is going to brag about something.
Yep. Yeah, look at the Silent Partner and the Running Tide, very close to each other.
Yep.
The breeze seems to be a little more consistent now. Everyone is on the pry and moving very well.
All the sails full. Even Gene with that huge, massive headboard. Still some flustering at the top, but as you can see, Silent Partner just powering ahead. Everybody now going across Legend.
Yeah, the whole fleet's going to pass Legend.
And that's going to make it even a lot more interesting.
Well,
Dallas,
if Legend ends up last in this race, and then Gene ends up 4 boats ahead of them or something like that, like that's going to be very interesting.
Yeah, very interesting.
Rough Justice has attacked for the mark now.
Yep.
They think they can make it. That is a considerable lead for this short upwind.
And there's your graphics again. Legend's
got, everyone's got pretty good speed.
Yep. 5.6.
Original Courageous is doing very well considering they're not in the race.
yeah, I believe that is probably
that might be the Running Tide.
Yeah, I think that's Running Tide.
Yeah,
I think that's Running Tide. And there comes Rough Justice, and she's gonna go around the mark in first place. And Joshua is going to be one braggadocious fellow tonight if he is able to pull this one off.
You got everyone looking under the sail. Make sure you can make it.
And Ed Sky coming around with a lot of power. Wow. A lot of power. And she's going to try to make up some ground.
She's going to try to do to them what the Running Tide did to her in the first race.
And is that Silent Partner?
Yep, the Silent Partner is going to be third. You can see Nabi on the bow giving his trademark bring around cap.
All right, Buzzy sailing himself back into
he's
contention.
Going under Ed Sky.
Wow.
Boy.
Split the fleet.
This is typical Buzzy right here, just like right across somebody's bow and tack.
That was close.
And there comes Running Tide.
And even Running Tide, okay, they're behind Ed Sky, but much closer. So Ed Sky probably overstood the mark just slightly.
Right.
Gave Buzzy an opportunity to swoop in there. Yeah, close
this
race.
Is
very close.
Yeah, very close.
Yeah.
A nice dandy of a race right now. Gene, right now ahead of
Okay,
both.
so what I'm seeing is they're going straight back downwind, so they're not coming in here to the reach mark.
That's what it looks
like. I hope that's the proper course and we're not going to have some sort of confusion, but it looks like everyone's jibing and going straight back downwind, so no reach mark. They're going to go straight down and then most likely straight back up here to the windward mark again.
And then come back and
then come in to finish.
Yeah, up and down.
Yeah. So what might have happened is some of the sailors might have requested a change in the course after the first race.
And particularly considering that it's gonna be dark in the next 45 minutes
shorter.
or so.
Yeah. Good shot of the Running Tide. Will Perotti at the base of the mast, the skipper of Miss Rowie.
Yep. And is that China? Yeah, Joshua.
Yeah.
His brother Jalen sitting next to him.
And the bowman spotting the buoy, pointing at him, telling him where to go, because the skipper can't see anything behind these sails. So you're completely at the mercy of your bowman, telling you if you're going to cross somebody, if you're going to hit somebody, if you're going to make the mark. Okay, what's going on now? Oh,
Rough Justice looks like she's...
Please don't tell me there's confusion taking place.
As far as the course is concerned?
I don't know, but I see people putting up their arms and waving them around, which is generally a sign of frustration.
Yep, absolutely. And confusion.
Yeah, so anyway, if they're going to the downwind, just go to the downwind at this point. Doesn't matter.
Yeah, Silent Partner now has gotten herself
it looked like it.
Taken over from Rough Justice.
So what happened to Rough Justice? Why'd they slow down so much?
I see that they were trailing
they had a line overboard.
A couple of pieces of lines, and I'm not sure what that was about. But
the new Legend is way in the back.
Way in the back.
Way in the back.
Yeah, she's not even...
Wow.
No chance of her...
no, I wouldn't think so. Barring some sort of penalty against some of the other boats. Wow.
And Running Tide has fallen off quite a bit too, after being pretty close to Ed Sky when they first went around.
Yeah.
And wow, this is like a mixed-up bowl of conch salad right now.
Yeah, boy. It's going to make it interesting going into tomorrow.
Oh, yeah.
Imagine if, imagine
You're going to have
Ozzy wins this race and Legend comes last.
The numbers are going to be almost even.
Exactly.
Across the board.
It'll almost be a win-or-go-home situation tomorrow.
Absolutely.
Interesting.
Yeah, we're going to have to kind of sit back and watch this one play out in front of us, but there's a shot of Silent Partner. Buzzy trying to redeem himself like he did in C-Class after losing it out yesterday, coming back and banging it home today. Earlier today, he had And let's see, Captain Jean now pushing 3.5, Silent Partner 3.5, Legend 4.5, but she's going downwind. So
right.
Rough Justice 3.9.
Running Tide 4.4. So yeah, I mean, our new Legend just slowed down. They must be low. Yeah. What's the delay on this? Do we know?
I'm not sure how live it is.
Right.
It's supposed to be live.
Okay.
So maybe accurate, but you can see. Look at that. Captain Jean looks like she's now starting to sail down Running Tide. Unbelievable. I mean, like if that happens. But she's got that big sail, loft, scooping up from the water.
And you can see that the bottom of his sail goes almost all the way down to the water.
But check this out. Is Silent Partner the only boat with the main sheet hanging over on the left side of the boat?
I believe he's the only one on starboard tack. Everybody else is on port. Yeah, so he's going to have to jibe at the downwind mark then. So that might slow him down a little bit. But I don't. I kind of like it because the wind is more from the north, which is more on his starboard side of the boat. So I think by putting the sail on that side and
he's also protecting himself from those boats in the back that may be blocking his wind.
Yeah, I think he's actually probably moving faster because he's not sailing directly downwind. He's actually more on like not a broad reach, but the wind is on his back quarter, and he's got that sail sheeted in a bit. So he's got some good speed going on. Yeah, it's a good move. Doesn't look like his jib's doing a whole lot because I think it's kind of getting blocked. by the main sail there.
Right.
And I'd be interested to do a little experiment just to see how much you gain by sticking the jib out with these massive boats and these massive sails, if it even helps at all.
Well, there you have it, folks.
The Legend is around.
Legend finally making it around.
See if they can catch good news.
But from your right.
See Stefan's jibing.
Silent Partner. Yep, he's going to do the same thing.
Yeah.
Followed by Rough Justice. Ed Sky in third place. And Captain Jean looking like she's edged slightly past Running Tide, who has fallen back now to fifth place. And boy, let me tell you, this is going to really, really make tomorrow's race as interesting as one could possibly be if this current standing holds, Dallas.
Yeah. And in fact, you look at the entire regatta so far, am I correct in saying that we have not had back-to-back winners in any class?
In any class.
Been flipping it.
Yeah. Nobody's won 2 consecutive races yet.
No. The closest we had to that was obviously Buzzy in Class C.
Yep.
And I think your son Joss earlier today had a good chance at the beginning.
He almost caught him right at the end. Only lost by about maybe 5 seconds, but yeah, he came fourth. There was a lot of boats coming across the line right at the same time there. There's Buzzy. And the Silent Partner crew, mostly crewed from the Black Point boats. It's really glad to see them get that boat and restore it and bring it back. Nobody better could have had it than them, for sure.
And of course, they are the defending champions here at the Best of the Best.
Yep.
And so the last repeat, I believe, would have been Running Tide. And Legend now literally looks like she is just stalled out in the water.
Yeah.
I'm not sure what's going on with her.
I would imagine there's some frustration on that boat right now. Something went down. They had a bad tack and slowed down a lot.
And I would not want to be anywhere near any of those crew members later tonight when they get on shore.
No.
And
all right, so now the Rough Justice is also jibed. Everyone's jibed now onto starboard tack.
They figured out that Buzzy found out something that they didn't know.
The wind basically has shifted enough where it's to your advantage to not sail directly downwind right now.
All right, so from this vantage point, it looks like Silent Partner, Rough Justice, Ed Sky, Running Tide. Then Captain Jean. Good news, I believe, stand behind. And then finally, Legend.
It looked like Legend overtook Pat again. I mean, not Legend, Running
Tide.
Yeah.
And let me tell you, for the Legend to bring up the buoy, I mean, I don't know.
When was the last time that happened?
And whether how much ribbon Coach is going to be able to take later tonight when the chats light up. Because this It's certainly not something that's expected.
No, certainly not. Not in light breeze. With the size of the Legends rig, she would be the heavy favorite in these conditions.
Absolutely. All right, and I believe Silent Partner is going to be approaching the mark very, very quickly.
So what Buzzy did on the first lap is he came in on starboard tack for quite a ways, and then he tacked.
Shot straight up.
And he caught the middle of the course. And that seemed to work pretty well for him, so I would imagine he would duplicate something like that.
Yep, absolutely.
Yeah. And
there goes Silent Partner.
Yep.
Edging around the mark in first place.
He actually increased that lead significantly.
Yep, and this is after crossing the last mark in third place.
Wow.
And so significant change in fortune for her. And Buzzy now trying to make up for the last race. Rough Justice now going around in second. Those guys are going to try to run the Silent Partner down.
Yep.
Ed Sky slowly making her way to the mark.
And there's a bit of a gap between them and then the Running Tide and Gene. Yeah, so if things stay like this, Rough Justice and Ed Sky pretty much a shoe-in for Sunday. Ed Sky for sure. A second and a third would be a great way to start the regatta.
Yep.
And Rough Justice a third and a second, same
So
points.
Silent Partner now going as high as 3.7. She motors her way
back on the wind.
Starting to increase that speed. And can't be Gene in second. I believe they've got the names mixed up just a bit.
Yeah.
And look at this. We have Running Tide and Captain Gene, is that?
Yep.
Coming to the mark.
Gene. There's an overlap there, so that means that the inside boat has the right of way to go around the mark, which in this case is the Running Tide.
Yep.
And Pat has to give him space to go around the buoy, but just enough space. Like Stefan is not allowed to sail past the buoy.
Okay.
He has to go around the buoy. And Pat has to give him the space that he needs to do that.
And so they're all around.
All right, Rough Justice has tacked away from the Silent Partner, which I think is the best thing to do there. You don't want to follow him. You're not going to catch him by falling behind him going upwind.
Yeah.
It's very rare to do that. So he's going to tack away. And Buzzy, I mean, I would normally say the smart thing to do would be to tack onto the same tack as Rough Justice and not let him get away from you. Right. But Buzzy does what he wants, and he generally does long tacks. So he would probably just stretch this out as much as he would cover. So we'll see what he decides to do.
And of course, he's got the experience of sailing the same exact track on his first lap. So he's probably learned something from that he thinks is favorable to him.
Yep. And Joshua sails in the C class on Ma Laura, and I'm sure he's on a B class boat, but I know he's not on the tiller. But Buzzy is certainly on the tiller for the C and the B and now the A. So he's done this course all day.
Yep.
And I think he's quite comfortable with his position. Ed Sky probably at this point is concentrating on beating the Running Tide.
Yes.
I don't think they can catch the two boats ahead of them, and they would rather put another point
between them
and the Running Tide, which actually would make them tied going into tomorrow.
Yep.
So that's probably what he's going to do.
Good news.
Good news. They're going to pull it off, I'm telling you. This is going to be a sixth-place finish for number 6.
And Legend still trying to make her way
to the downwind marker. And just when you think the wind was being consistent, it seems to have dropped again.
Dropped and switched just a little bit, slightly.
A little back more to the northeast. So there's Buzzy tacking now. And
Running Tide
tacking as well. So Ed Sky will probably do a loose cover on Stefan. Rough Justice coming back now.
Right, and we will see now, I believe,
Yeah, see
where they meet
gained
will
on
determine whether he's gained anything.
He would have the right of way. Buzzy's on port tack, meaning the wind would be hitting the left side of his boat first, the port side. So he's on port tack, which means he has to give way to the rough justice, who's on starboard tack, if it comes down to being that close.
Yes.
He will most likely, if he can, he'd probably sail across their bow and just not worry about them.
Yeah. Yeah.
And if he can't cross them, then he has a decision. He either pulls the tiller and goes around the back of them and keeps on going on port tack, or he tacks ahead of them and tries to give them bad wind and make them tack away again.
All right.
We'll see. Nabby's up on the bow, looking around the sail, pointing at the mark, and probably telling them where the rough justice is.
Yeah.
And they're probably talking about what their plan is going to be. Nabi's been doing this long enough. He could probably glance at the rough justice and know in a heartbeat if they're going to cross him or not.
Yep. And we're going to see them come into view in short order. Pat has done almost the same as he did in the first lap. Sailed this far down before taking his port tack.
Ed Sky and Running Tide both on port tack now. Ed Sky should be windward of the Running Tide. They're both moving. Actually, Ed Sky looks like they might have a little bit more speed than them right now. And the cross between the Silent Partner and the Rough Justice is coming up now.
I believe Silent Partner is going to cut Rough Justice.
I think it's quite significant, actually.
Yeah.
So that would mean Buzzy is, yes, comfortably in the lead still.
Yes.
And the attempt to get away from him and find some favorable shifts or puffs from the Rough Justice didn't work out this time.
Yeah.
But I'd say he's still solidly in second place.
And Silent Partner sailing extremely well.
Yeah. He doesn't need to do anything right now except sail to the mark and tack. I don't think he's going to do much different than that.
And graphics back on screen. Silent Partner now showing as high as 5 knots.
Yeah, the Captain Jean with the 5.4 and the 5.5, she's found some speed.
Good shot there of the crew. And with today's winds, Dallas, I know in heavy winds, these A-class can carry as many as 18 crew.
Yeah.
Today looks like, what, 14, 15?
I would say even less
than that,
some, maybe 12.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, you want to have it just right, where if you're not spending a whole lot of time on the pry, you probably don't need to be on the boat.
Right.
So they're going to carry enough to probably put maybe 7 guys on the pry, and then, the guy to work the main sheet and everything else.
Look at what's happening now. Gene has cut Running Tide.
Here we go. That was a good upwind from Pat. He found some speed. I don't think the trackers were lying.
No, absolutely not. So this is really turned into a real interesting conversation on shore today. He's got Ed Sky as well.
All right. And he's on starboard, so he's not worried about it. You can look at the difference in the two styles of boats right there coming at you.
Yeah, that's a wide, Gene.
Wide, and the bow is very upturned.
Yep.
Yeah.
Well, when Gene first went into the water, prior to them putting the mask in, there was a lot of comical remarks.
It did look weird. I'll just leave it at that. And I don't think he had all the lead in yet either. So she was floating really high.
Yeah, it didn't look like there was no way that bow would be able to ever come down.
Yeah.
But there she is. And, the thing is, at this point, the bow, if you were to pull that boat out of the water right now, you'd realize that the bow is barely in the water. I mean,
barely.
Under that, it's just keel after that.
Yep.
So
if
who knows? If Pat gets that boat trimmed properly, she may end up turning into be a real race boat.
Yeah, you never know. The bow very much resembles the old Turks and Caicos style bow that would be rising up out of the water, and it was more curved back then, but it's very, very similar. So, I mean, a lot of people, when they saw it, they said it's not traditional and it shouldn't be allowed. But if you look back through the history books, the pictures of the old sloops, they were very, very similar to that. And even when you look at Good News and Silent Partner, they have bows that are very similar.
Absolutely.
They come right up almost out of the water.
And there you go, dual tack.
Very nice.
dual tack.
So if Pat can find a good amount of speed and get to that lay line quickly, he can tack on the starboard and maybe put some pressure on Rough Justice. It's deceiving to see just how far apart they are. Pat is definitely leeward of the Rough Justice. And one wrong move, you lose speed for a little bit, he'll give up any advantage. But let's see what happens.
Well, there comes Silent Partner. Buzzy Roll and the crew from Black Point. Nabi, the bowman, calling it.
One buoy rounding away from victory. Don't touch the mark, and you got the gun in your sights.
And they can smell it.
What a day for
Almost
Buzzy.
tasted,
Three victories in one day.
Yeah,
Wow.
He's
in the zone.
Re-establishing the legend.
Yep. I don't know the last time I've seen the Lady Sonia perform so well. That's really, really good to see.
Yeah, absolutely.
All right, so the Rough Justice has rolled completely over Captain Gene, so that one's over.
Yeah, okay.
So now the race is between the Running Tide.
And whether Gene can cut Running Tide to the mark.
Yep.
And that would be...
So Ed Sky looked like they got into a bit of a header, which means the wind shifted right on their bow and their sail just started flapping.
Right.
So they probably lost a lot of speed right now. I don't think they're going to be ahead of the Running Tide anymore. So we got a shadow on the Running Tide's sail. That must be the Rough Justice.
Coming at her.
Yeah, the sun is behind the Rough Justice.
So
that will tell you that I'm betting the Running Tide
is ahead.
Going to be ahead.
Well, not yet, Dallas.
No, not yet. Not yet. I mean, Rough Justice very well could be ahead of them, actually.
Yep, I believe so.
Yeah. And it looks like Stefan can make the mark from there. And Rough Justice is way ahead. We were off on that one. So they're way ahead of the Running Tide still.
Now let's see. What about Captain Jane?
That's a little closer.
I believe she's also ahead, though.
Oh, you got some movement. They got some movement. So I don't think they can cross. They're going to attack early, and they're going to see if they can make the mark. All right. So you got to have a lot of confidence in your boat and your skippering ability to try to make the mark from a leeward position with a boat bearing down on top of you. So it's a
little bit risky.
Boy, and if he doesn't do it, he's got to tack 2 more times, and the Ed Sky will all but catch him.
Let's see.
Boy, that was a big gamble there for Pat.
Let's see, Pat. Let me see. Did you call it right?
You want to sail on Sunday, boy. You got to take some risks. Right. I think he got it.
He got it.
All right. Good job, Pat. Good job.
Just by the edge of this.
Just got it. Good job.
Excellent sailing there, Captain Jane. Cutting in front of the world-famous Running Tide and Stefan Knowles. And if he can hold it and claim that he beat Running Tide and Legend in one race.
Yep, and he's already beat the tidal wave, so he can start checking them off the list. Yep.
But while that is being said, Silent Partner and Buzzy Knowles, they're heading for the finish line.
Running away with it. There's Ed Sky. Ed Sky fell back a bit.
Rough Justice trying to make up some ground, and then Rough Justice right now in a good position in 3rd place and now looking like a 2nd place. She is going to be, I believe, the low number going into tomorrow's race.
Yep, because Running Tide is going to end up probably 4th.
Yep.
And the Legend, I don't believe she's going to catch the good news.
No, I don't think so. And that'll be a story to be told later today. And as the sun is about to go down, we're going to have a sunset finish. And Silent Partner, Buzzy Knowles, demonstrating
Buzzy Roll.
Buzzy Roll. I keep calling him Knowles. I don't know. When I attach him to somebody from Long Island.
But I'll tell you, the sun is not going down on Pat's chances to sail on Sunday with this finish.
Absolutely
He is not out of it. Interesting. He may be ahead of the Legend in points if things don't change.
The Legend, if the Legend comes in at her current position, which is 7, she will have 11 points. Silent Partner will have 6 points. based on her 5th place position.
And Captain Jean will have 10.
Captain Jean would have 10.
Or 9.
Let's see. Jean 9. Would have 6 plus
3.
3.
Yeah, 9. Wow.
9. Even if she comes in one lower, she would still be ahead of the legend. And
That's the minister. That's the minister on the boat. That's the clay seating.
That's a good luck charm. Oh boy.
Oh, Buzzy.
No wonder.
Yeah.
He probably wasn't on for the first race.
Yeah. Wow.
There you go, Nabby.
Call it for the gun. Call it for the gun. Call it for the gun. Say, shoot that gun. Fire the gun. Magic in the crew. There you have it.
What a finish.
A finish. Congratulations, silent partner.
Ooh, they're going to celebrate tonight.
There's going to be some celebrating going on Montague Harbor tonight. First place. Rough Justice now. Power into second place. And let me tell you, Captain Jean Dallas, I believe, is going to get a third place finish.
So, yep.
Top 3.
Yep. He's
First time ever.
Not far behind Rough Justice. Rough Justice probably happy this race is ending right now, because Captain Jean is coming with some speed.
And Stefan has to be careful because it looks like Ed Sky.
Ed Sky got some speed too.
He's also coming in with some speed.
Yep. I just want to know why Ed Sky's sail isn't as big as it could be. Maybe they just don't have a big sail. These sails are $10,000 each. You know, not everybody can carry 4 or 5 different size sails.
Absolutely.
But boy, if they had one that was slightly bigger, it would have helped them out a whole lot. Wow, good job for the Black Point crew. Excellent, excellent race.
Absolutely. Rough Justice, there you go, coming across 9. Second place. A lot of talking going back and forth. There's Will Perotti there.
Nice. Good race for them.
Third place. Captain Jean.
Jean, all right. Got Gold McKenzie on the bow. Got all the Bucktown fellas. There's Southman. Yeah, man, they're super excited.
Oh, yeah.
Man on the phone in the back telling everyone, you watching the TV? Good for them. Good finish. That's probably their best finish, eh?
Absolutely.
Yeah, I don't think they've ever been third before.
Top 3.
Yeah, very good.
And let's see. Ed Sky is going to come across in 4th place, did she?
Boy, that's close. Can't tell from here, but her and Running Tide are very close. Running Tide might still have the edge on them.
I believe because...
Ooh, boy.
I believe it's going to be Ed Sky.
Wow.
And
if it is, that would be a bit of a shock. You can see a shadow. Oh, that's from the other boat.
Yeah, I think Ed Sky across in 4th place. Running Tide going across in 5th. Good news going across. Well, we'll come across, I believe.
Yep.
In 6th.
Yep.
And New Legend in 7th. Well, that opens up a whole Pandora's box for tomorrow's race.
Yep, it's going to be fun.
Running Tide is going to have 6 points. Silent Partner is also going to have 6 points. Unofficially, of course. Rough Justice in 1st place with 5 points. So those are your top 3 boats. And then after that, it gets really, really crazy. Ed Sky, well, with 6 is there.
So we have 3 boats with 6 points?
Yep, Ed Sky also with 6.
Wow.
So that means one more spot open.
One more.
One more spot.
That would be right now Jean?
And Jean would be the one with the 9th with 9 points.
Yeah, and then the Legend, and then the...
So Captain Jean's job tomorrow is to beat the Legend and Good News.
No. Pat gonna go home and pray all night that there's 25 knots of breeze and we don't sail tomorrow.
So we just go with these 2. Wow. Unbelievable.
So we are expecting some heavy winds and rough seas out there tomorrow.
Yeah, it's going to be a definitely breezier, anywhere from 15 to 19 knots. So that's certainly exciting sailing in the A-class. A little more challenging for the smaller boats, but luckily the wind doesn't pick up until it's scheduled to pick up in the afternoon. Right. So we should be able to get the E and the C done in relatively controllable conditions.
So it was another topsy-turvy day on the waters, but Buzzy Rowley showed his domination today in the B, the C, and the A class, putting his name in the books for probably having 3 races on Sunday.
Yep. And this final A class race I think, has turned the whole A-class fleet upside down.
Yeah.
It's like a bowl of conch salad right now.
Yeah.
And it's going to be a dandy tomorrow because there's a possibility that some well-known boats may not make it based on the current standing. Legend Crew for sure has got their work cut out for them. Jean, if she makes the final, will be historic, I believe. But again, Pat has, said that this boat will eventually become a race boat. He's done extremely well also with Queen in the C class.
Yep.
And so to make both A and C for Sunday, I think for him will be crowning. He wouldn't even have the winner race after that.
No, that would be a huge accomplishment for him, for sure.
So, Dallas, your anticipation for tomorrow for us in the E-class?
Yeah, we're looking forward to another great race. The races have actually been pretty close in the E-class. The scores are very tight. Joss, Knowles, and Lady Kayla's in the lead with 5 points. And then we have 3 boats tied with 10 points. And then it remains pretty close all the way down to the top 11 right now. In fact, I think 9th, 10th, and 11th place are only like 1 point apart. So you have Baby Wave and Judgment D and Crybaby are all very, very close on the cusp of making the finals. So those 3 boats for sure are going to be watching where they are on the course and just trying to beat each other to secure a spot in the finals. I would say that the top 4 boats, Kayla, Sugarloaf, Anne-Marie, and Captain Peg, are all but insured to be sailing on Sunday. Unfortunately, Mako today, who had a 4th on the first day, broke down, didn't get to race today, so he's essentially out, and he would have been one of the favorites to make the finals for sure. But it's going to be tight. It's going to be some good racing. The juniors, of course, are sailing extremely well. In the junior standings, Kayla has a pretty significant lead with 2 firsts amongst the juniors. So Joss would be the heavy favorite to secure the junior championship, I think. But I'm looking forward to it.
Alice, question, because we had this discussion earlier and we didn't get full clarity on what makes in the E-class, what is the difference between the junior and the senior segment within that class?
Yeah.
Because we know that if you have a junior skipper, then you are in the junior race.
Not necessarily.
Not necessarily.
No.
Okay, so clear that up for us.
Right, you have to have a full junior crew. Okay. So if you have a junior skipper but an adult in the boat with you, you're no longer considered a junior.
I got
you. And this is how we're going to be running it in April as well.
I got you.
Okay, so a junior boat is only a boat that is completely junior.
I got you.
Just like in the Durwood Knowles Championship, the skipper, the crew is all 18 and under.
Right.
Okay?
Okay.
Yeah.
All right, so that clears that up, Charles. We were having that discussion with Higgins, Dwayne, earlier today, because we were under the impression that as long as the skipper was a junior, then you would still be in the junior class. But you've cleared that up.
Yeah.
You had to have a full junior crew. And so do you know in the E-class how many of those boats are carrying full junior crew?
We have 8.
8?
Yeah.
Okay, so out of the 20, I think
we had 25 on the line to date.
Right.
So yeah, 8 out of 25 are all junior crew.
Right.
And then I'd say another 4 or 5 probably have junior skippers.
Right, okay.
But adult crew.
Right.
Yeah.
The C and the B is going to be just as exciting.
Mm-hmm.
Absolutely. Absolutely. I believe this Best of the Best Dallas, up to this point, based on what we've seen, I'm going to go out on a limb and say it's probably one of the best.
Yeah, certainly most competitive. Yeah, like we haven't had repeat winners in any class, so
absolutely.
Including the A.
Yeah.
So that is definitely saying that the competition is tight,
right?
And we have a lot of talent amongst all the classes, and there's anybody that can win.
Which brings me back to this age-old adage about boats being faster,
or the skipper,
or is it the skill on the water? And I'm going to say, which is something I've always said, that is the skill on the water that determines the winner overall, because I believe these boats are fundamentally all sailing almost at the same speed, depending on the rigging that they carry.
I would say it's, I wouldn't say it's fully skill. I would say it's maybe 60% skill and 40% boat, because there are
boat design or rigging.
I would say boat design and general care and upkeep of the boat. Okay. Like if you have a boat that is clean, well maintained, well rigged, that's going to be a very difficult boat to beat. Right. And then if you have a boat that is not taken care of, it's dirty and it's breaking down. Even if you have a top skipper on there, it's hard to get that one ahead of a boat that is just out of the box faster. Right. So we saw that you see that in the E-class a lot too. Like we had 2 brand new boats that Mark just built. First time they ever sailed, and they came first and second in Georgetown. Yes. So I mean, that just shows you that those boats are extremely fast.
Right.
And the champion in Georgetown, Finley, never sailed in sloops before. Okay, so he does have some talent, but he doesn't know the sloops as well as some of these other guys that have been doing it for a long time. But the boat was just so incredibly fast that his natural instinct in sailing allowed him to win that regatta. Unfortunately, he's not here for this regatta. He's in South America at the Opti World Championships.
Yeah. They get underway tomorrow.
Yep. So Sugarloaf is sailed by a completely new crew. Nobody from Georgetown is in Sugarloaf this year, and they're still tied for second place. So it shows you how fast that boat is.
Yeah, gotcha.
Yeah.
Well, a full day of sailing, and the activities doesn't stop here, because the full concert is coming up. But prior to that, we have the official opening ceremony once again at 7 o'clock. Then we have the Jump and the Rush Out following that. 8 o'clock, the Synergy Pop Band. 9 o'clock, the Shadow Band. 9:30, Johnny Cake. 10 o'clock, Bloody will take the stage. 10:30, Veronica Bishop. And closing out tonight, Gino D. We'll be back here first thing tomorrow morning, 8 o'clock. Looking for an exciting day.
Absolutely.
They call it, what should we dub tomorrow?
Going home day.
Make your cut day.
Moving day.
Yeah, moving day. If you don't make that cut.
That's what they call it.
Especially in that A. I can't wait to see what happens in that A class and the B class, where there aren't as much boats as in the C. The C can still play around a bit, but in that A and B, boy, if you don't come on top of your game tomorrow, you could be right here in the stands. Watching like everybody else on Sunday. They know you want to carry home some of those big trophies. But that's going to do it for us here on this day number 2 of the Best of the Best Regatta. It was a great day of exciting competition. It's Buzzy Roll Day. He took just about everything, but it doesn't matter if he doesn't win on Sunday.
That's right.
Facing increasingly severe climate extremes and our most crucial resource, water, is under threat. Changes in precipitation patterns, prolonged droughts, and intense storms are impacting both the availability and quality of our water supply.
Water resources essentially is water for potable use, agricultural use, industrial use, and so on. And it can either be on the surface or it could be ground.
Although forecasts for heavy rainfall in 2024 might seem promising, these intense downpours often cause runoff instead of replenishing groundwater sources, which many islands depend on for drinking water.
On the groundwater side, if it is that we get a drier than usual wet season, we need to be concerned moving into next year. Because if that's followed by a dry season, then we have a problem in 2025 for sure.
To address these changes, it is essential for communities to not only prepare for storms, but also to manage water resources wisely.
As a community, we can start investing in the development of these rainwater harvesting systems. That's one approach. What you can do as an individual is to see how in your own household you can reduce your water footprint in terms of how you use water.
As we move through 2024, focusing on water sustainability and resilience is crucial. Together, through improved management and conservation efforts, we can advance the sustainable use of water resources and build a water-resilient Caribbean.
The thought of colon cancer never really crossed my mind until 2000.
The fishing industry in the Bahamas brings in billions of dollars to the Bahamian economy annually. Behind these billions are the men and women quietly working the aquamarine waters. These fishermen depend on healthy, thriving marine environment to support their families.
I've been a